Donald Trump sues Hillary Clinton for like a bunch of millions. He ends up getting the lawsuit kicked out and the judge ordering Trump to pay Hillary Clinton money. Talk about taking an L. Okay, let me give it to you. Put up Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, full mass. Trump and his attorneys were told by a federal judge Thursday they were liable for nearly $1 million in sanctions for a lawsuit brought against Hillary Clinton, ex-top DOJ officials, and several others over allegations they all conspired against him in 2016. US District Court Judge Donald Middlebrooks of the Southern District of Florida wrote, and I quote, "This case should have never been brought. Its inadequacy as a legal claim was evident from the start. No reasonable lawyer would have filed it. Intended for a political purpose. None of the counts of the amended complaint state a cognizable legal claim, nothing." So here's what's interesting about this entire dynamic. If you sue somebody, right? Typically you have to lay out elements of the why. And you lay them out in the form and you send it to the person and then they respond. And then you battle it out either in litigation or sometimes just settlement discussions. Well, when you utilize the federal courts in order to make a political point, typically federal judges are against it. They are not for it. And you can't really get rid of a federal judge. You have to deal with a federal judge. Unless a judge is corrupt, then you could possibly get rid of him. But he doesn't have the same political weight as some other judges do. I do find it quite interesting that this attorney, knowing the law, being bar certified, went to law school, now is in danger of having the law license revoked. And then you look at the history of Trump. Trump has literally killed the profession of lawyers. Many, I mean, hell, Giuliani lost his law license because of Donald Trump as well. There's more. The Judge Middlebrooks had previously granted the request for sanctions filed by one of the defendants in Trump's lawsuit. That order, which demanded sanctions of more than $66,000, has been paused while Trump's attorneys appeal. The latest decision, which ordered $937,989 in sanctions, stems from a request by several other defendants, including Hillary Clinton. You go, girl, get your money. The judge pointed to Trump's pattern of misusing the courts to serve political purposes as he ticked through several other failed lawsuits Trump has brought in recent years. Frivolous lawsuits should not be used as a vehicle for fundraising or fodder for rallies or social media, Middlebrooks wrote. This judge is hip to the game. So what is Trump really doing with these lawsuits? They file these lawsuits and then they send emails out saying, hey, we're suing Hillary Clinton. But in order for us to be successful, we need you to chip in $25 until you're dead every week, right? So they send these emails out and they do fundraise on them. And typically it is a profitable model. Yes, they make money from this. And the judge was well aware. Meanwhile, Joe Biden, the current president, said there's no there. He's okay, no problem. Talking about the classified documents. A frustrated President Biden said Thursday, there is no there, responding to persistent questions about the classified documents found at his home and former office. Biden spoke to reporters during a tour of storm damage. This is on the California coast, all right? The full statement, here it is.
Look, as we found a handful of documents were filed in the wrong place. We immediately turned them over to the archives and the Justice Department. We're fully cooperating, looking forward to getting this resolved quickly. I think you're gonna find there's nothing there. I have no regrets. I'm following what the lawyers have told me they want me to do. It's exactly what we're doing. There's no there. Thank you.
All right, let me give you a recap here. So the White House, they came out and said, hey, listen, we got to disclose. And so they disclosed that Biden attorneys found classified documents and official records on 4 occasions in recent months. On November 2nd, at the offices of the Penn Biden Center in Washington, and then in follow-up searches on December 20th in the garage of the president's home in Delaware, and on January 11th and 12th in the president's home library. I mean, damn. The 2 cases are different, but, all right? The discovery complicates a federal probe into former President Donald Trump, who the Justice Department says took hundreds of records marked classified with him upon leaving the White House in early 2021 and resisted months of requests to return them to the government. Now, see, this is when Democrats, not being creative, not utilizing a strategic approach. This is not a bad thing for you all. This is a great thing for you all. Let me explain why. If they're saying that Biden needs to be investigated, which by the way, the GOP is, they are already calling for investigations through the GOP-led House. Okay, fine, have at it. He should be investigated. I agree. He was in receipt of classified information, and he was not the president at the time. He was a former vice president at the time. Investigation should go forward. So if they conclude, I'm talking about conservatives, that an investigation is warranted into President Joe Biden, they must conclude that an investigation is warranted into Donald Trump. If they conclude that Joe Biden has been compromised because of a handful of classified documents found at multiple locations, they must conclude that Donald Trump can never be near the White House again. If they conclude that the federal government was not weaponized against Biden when they decided to investigate him, they must conclude that the federal government was not weaponized against Trump when they found classified information on his property. You see, it's all about contextualization of the facts. The reality is Biden, Trump, and other former presidents, they have taken documents that are classified home. Sometimes an aide did it, sometimes they did it. Sometimes it was intentional, sometimes it was non-intentional. The reality is when it was found or discovered, they did not fight the federal government and hold on to it. That's what Trump did. Remember, Trump would have never been charged with any of this or investigated. I think the charges are coming. He never would have been investigated for any of this if he simply would have turned over the damn documents when they told him to. Well, what happened with Biden? Well, Biden turned over the damn documents when he found them. As a matter of fact, who snitched on Biden? His own attorneys. His own attorneys snitched on him, told on him. I mean, they called the White House, the Department of Justice, the archives, and then they called Joe Biden. What would have happened if Trump's lawyers would have found it without the fanfare and the media? What would have happened? You think they would have called these other entities or Trump first? Do you think they would have hid it? There you go. All right, thoughts here.
All right, I'll start with the latter, then I'll move to the former. I remember seeing Representative James Comer being asked about this on CNN, and he had very strong things to say about investigating the current president. Then when it turned to the receipts of him in video form saying that a president should never be investigated when he was talking about Trump, he had no answer whatsoever. So it is hypocritical. Now, and good breakdown as well. Now to the former, Donald Trump sues everybody. Like this is so par for the course that he would sue somebody and then because he sued, have to pay damages to the person he sued. Like he thinks the court system is for him. He refuses to pay people and then says, what are you gonna do? Sue me? I have the best lawyers in the world. And then if someone gets mad at him, like Rosie O'Donnell or the creator of Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, whose name I believe is Merv Griffin, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. He will sue anybody at all times. And the biggest L that I could remember is covering the intersection of politics and sports was when he decided to go not into the NFL, but the United States Football League. And what he decided to do was say, hey, what would be great? We're gonna go with this rival league when he owned New Jersey Generals and say, you know what? we need to go to fall. We can't be a spring league anymore. So what he did, he then competed with the National Football League. The league went down the tubes, right? So what they did was, let's sue the NFL to say they're a monopoly. In order to do that, Trump then had to testify, showed his ass in court. He alleged that it cost the league $1.34, $1.6 billion. Instead, the jury ruled and the judge agreed that they had a case, but it was not this case. So instead of $1.3 to $1.6 billion, they gave the United States Football League, led by Donald Trump, $1. And because it was an antitrust case, they gave them $3 because it's tripled. He will sue anybody at any time, and most of the time he'll show his ass and lose.